Hey guys, welcome back to AFK Journey. In today's video, we're going to go through an updated hero wish list for new players through to day one players on your priorities and how they are shifting along the way with the game. Now, apologies for not having many videos over the last week. I did go away on a holiday, but we are back, so we will be back into regular content flow. But let's take a look at the updated wish list and my thoughts around it. So obviously, for new players, we'll start with Lightbearers and go through. You want to get one copy of Rowan. That is your first priority. And honestly, for me, you can either do Tamesia or Vala in the second spot. It doesn't really matter. Now, after you get one copy of Rowan, I don't see an issue in just leaving him there so much now. I think he just works really well, especially in this season. But in general, you can get one copy and then go for Tamesia and then work on Vala and Tamesia. But those three are basically going to be the first ones, and you definitely want to get at least one copy of Rowan before you switch him away. But those are going to be the main ones. And then after, if you've got two of those three built, you're going to go ahead and you're going to slap Cassidy on, and old crossbow chick, who I can never remember her name, doesn't really matter that much. Over here, I do think there is now a case. I need to wait for endless mode in bossing to see. I do think there is a case to maybe drop Merrily or Corrin and put Lucius in the wish list, because Lucius is versatile and he can get some clutch use in some situations. And with us getting more and more damage dealers to function on bosses, I think Corrin and Merrily will really fall off, but I'm not 100% certain on that call until we get into the endless mode to make that decision. But I do think if we see lacking usage of Corrin and Merrily in the endless mode of bossing this season, then I'd probably put Lucius in over one of those two. But once again, we do have to wait and see for that. Moving on over here, we have the Maulers. Brutus, you just want one copy. One copy, once again, with Brutus is enough, and then you can switch him off. Now, what do you switch him off for? This one is an interesting one. I think the general suggestion would be Mauler. She's just working so well on all bosses. The more dupes she gets, the more she survives in that melee range, so she can stay alive and keep her haste buff on the close allies. So she is fantastic. She works at one copy though. And another unit that you could put into this, but I wouldn't recommend it as highly for general players. For me, I am doing it. And that is Shakir, because Shakir in this spot, you need him to Mythic Plus to get viability out of him, and he can work as a really solid buffer. However, you know, once again, she is generally better, but Shakir, if you want any viability, you need to get the dupes. So it's up to you guys on the call. The main priority here still is going to be Smokey, in my opinion. I know he's not being used in every boss anymore, but he's just such a versatile character across the whole game. I think he's just definitely worth it as your main priority. And second priority, once again, like I said, so Smokey is the top priority. The second priority can be generally Mauler, but also Shakir does have some sort of a place. Once you've got two of those to complete, the next option over here would be Elsa for me personally, because she's getting some usage and she's the only other one that really you want to put some investment into. Brutus and the Rhino, dude, forgot his name already, can be got from the shop, and Reese just isn't as strong at the moment, so keep that in mind. Over here, I think it's pretty staple. Odie and Coco, pretty safe. You do have other options once you get those two built. We have over here, we got Kruger for bossing, and we got Antandra for PvE type purposes, and those are the main two that I would look to. Once you get them done, the awkward thing about Old Mate is that Soren is one of those ones, you can't get him from the dream shop, but I just don't see him as being valuable enough to put in that wish list. So once again, I think you do the Coco and Odie, and then you can move into Antandra or Kruger from there on. So that is that one. Moving on into the Wilders. So Wilders has the new staple of Lily May. If you already have Lily May and Iron, like just Lily May is the bossing unit. So if you're a new player, get her to Supreme Plus. She is just absolutely amazing. Now, once you finish one of these two, you've got some options. I would probably... you can go Florabelle, because she is another one that you can't get from the shop, because the remaining three Wilders you can get from the shop. However, Hewen is a great healer for a lot of situations as well, so you can put her. But once again, those two are your main priority, and after that you can look to Florabelle or to Hewen. Florabelle not seeing as much usage anymore, but still a good viable option. And once again, she is not available in the shop, and that does give her a bit of a higher priority once again. Moving on from that, we go into here, and this is a change I recommend everyone to make, no matter where you're at in the game, is to put these two on the wish list. These two are very strong units in their own positions and where they get used. Over here, we've got bossing and PvP usage. Over here, we've got PvE and PvP usage. And these two units, Lenya and Olmus, you want to have them on because you can't get them from the Dream Store. Yes, we have Arden and we also have Damien, who are fantastic wilder A-level units. However, you can get these guys from the shop. So me personally, some people may disagree, but even if I started a fresh account today, I would have these two on the wish list from the get-go, trying to get their copies, and then I will worry about getting these two from the shop later on. Yes, these like Arden and Damien are very, very crucial units, especially for some PvP and PvE purposes, but because of the lack of ability to get these two from the shop, I 100% would be leaving these on. You're kind of like on a new account, you're trading off like a mid-term progression for long-term progression, being that these two are not used in the early game, Arden and Damien. They're only used once you get them to Mythic Plus, which is kind of that mid-game level. And then once you get them, you do get some pretty decent value out of them. And what you're trading off is that mid-game value from these two and sticking to later game value from these two. And I think that is the play personally, and that is what I would go for. Now we go into the Graveborn. Thorin, still a no-brainer. A new player can put one copy of Cecilia on there just so you can get her to 1 ascension higher for early pushing, but that is where I would probably leave it. We do have Carolina, who is probably still the best option. We do have Nara coming as well. Me personally, Carolina, I always say this, I'm not a massive fan of her personally, but she is still really strong in the role that she fits. But I think in this spot here, you can pick between Carolina, you can pick between Ludovic and also Nara when she comes. I think those three are fairly close in priority. I'd probably do Ludovic, then Nara, then Carolina, but that's me personally. If you don't have any good AoE damage, then you can always do Carolina first, and away you go. But those three are the three I would focus on, and that would be my priority there. And over here in Graveborn A levels, we just don't have that much going on. I just do Sylvina and Niru. Once I finish one of them, I slap on the old mate, Viperian, and that's the way we go. Just keep in mind we do have Bonnie coming later on, who will be an A-level Graveborn, and she does look like she has some decent control, possibly damage. We'll have to wait and see. So she could be an option moving forward. So that is the wish list. Whoops, let's just exit out of that. Unsave changes. Yep. Oh geez. Okay, I'll come fix that later. Hopefully I remember to do that. So that is that one. As we move over here, now this is set up for my account, but for a new account, what I would be putting into this wish list would be something looking a little bit like this. If we go over here like that. Now early days, I would be having also a Rowan and a Brutus in there until you get one copy of each of them. You can do that. But then we go ahead and we look at something a little bit like, where was my final unit? This, we've got staples. Thorin, fantastic for free to play because he's just so versatile, especially in bossing, PvP, and also in PvE stages as well. Smokey, just no brainer. Iron, you need him to Mythic Plus for his grouping capacity. We've got Lily May because she is just the best damage dealer in the game. And then we have Mauler because she is another fantastic support who is really shining everywhere. Like I mentioned earlier, I do have my Shakir thoughts as well, but in general, I feel like Mauler is the safe option with those other units, and that is where I would be putting my epic wish list based on the current state of the game for new players. Now, as you build these heroes, you can look at other ones. Like I said, Shakir, getting him to Mythic Plus is going to be pretty solid. And then it's basically whatever you're looking to focus down. Just keep in mind, I try and avoid in this wish list heroes that you can get from the arena store because they have less value, because eventually you'll get a ton of arena points so you can exchange them from there. So try and stick to the characters that you cannot get from those stores. And that is what I would focus on over here. So that is my updated wish list priorities. If you guys have any differing opinions or anything like that, please let me know. But like I said, I think the big one for... Dude, did I just screw that up? Yeah, I screwed that up as well. The big one for a lot of players is getting that Olmus and Lenya straight onto that wish list because they are very strong in their own rights in the positions where they work, and you just can't get them from the shops. So that means you really need to just be summoning those copies. So I would be slapping them on straight away for everyone. But that is just my suggestion. Once again, as I mentioned earlier, for new accounts, it is trading off mid-term progression for late-term progression, which I still think is a great trade-off. But anyway, guys, as always, thanks for watching. Hope you have an awesome day, and I look forward to seeing you in the next one. Cheers.